Hey y'all, so today I am going to make a black currant cheesecake. These are black currants. See if I can find one. You have to pick them. I've let mine soak most of the day. Let's see, where's it at? There it is. See, it grows on a vine. Some of them have a lot of them on there. And you just have to go through and pick out the stems. And some of them are really mushy and you have to pick those out. But then that's what they look like once you get them done. So here we're going to get them all uh, seeded through or looked through. I'm going to pull them all off the stems. My landlord gave me these. She picked them fresh yesterday morning and brought them over to me yesterday. And so I wanted to use them because I really appreciate them. And so I decided I would make me a black currant cheesecake. The black currants have a very distinctive taste. They're they're okay to eat. Some people love them just to eat them just like they are, but some people don't care for them. Okay, so I got them, the ones I'm going to use. I got them all gone through. There looks like a little piece of a, nope, that's just the inside. I thought it was a leaf. But I've got them all finished, as you can see. There's a few still in there. Some of them are too soft to use. And so this is what I've got to work with. And I'm going to put these in a saucepan. Probably put them in my skillet. I'm going to put a little artificial sweetener in it. I'm going to use some Swerve, like I always use in my recipes. So I'm going to make this sugar-free dish. It's going to be a cheesecake. I'm going to use these black currants. I might get some strawberries to throw in with it, maybe a little bit of kiwi, and just make a really good fruity little cheesecake. I think it will be delicious. But you can see the leaves of these are like a grapevine. And like I said, they're kind of an acquired taste. Some people love them, some people don't like them at all. But if you were out in the forest and you didn't have anything else to eat, I tell you, these would be pretty delicious. So we will get these started on the stove, and I'll show y'all guys what I'm doing with them. And we're going to make a cheesecake. So I put a tablespoon of real lemon, this stuff right here. I put a tablespoon of that. I'm going to put a tablespoon of this Swerve, some Swerve granular sugar. And I'm just going to sprinkle this around in there real good. And you may taste them a little bit later, and it's all up to you how sweet you want to get them. I don't want them too sweet because I'm using them in a cheesecake. So I want to keep them a little bit tart. They are very, very tart, or pungent, some people say. But, yeah, they make good jelly too. Or you can make a sauce and pour it over your ice cream or anything like that. You can also strain it. When you get them boiled, you can strain it. And you can actually make juice out of them. You can put them in your juicer. Add a little sugar to them, a little lemon maybe. And they make actually a really good drink too. Now I just put enough water in there, just a little bit of water in there, enough to cover the bottom of the pan and kind of cover the berries a little bit. And then I'm going to put this on high, and I'm going to let it cook for about 2 minutes on high once it starts boiling. Once it starts boiling, I'm going to turn it down to low, or about between medium and low. I'm going to turn it down and just let it simmer for about 5 to 6 more minutes. And then I'm going to check them because they should be done by that time. Okay, so I've got them boiling there. You can see they just started rolling. Started boiling a little bit there. I'm going to let them boil like that for 2 to 3 minutes until they're kind of soft and tender. And then I'm going to put it down on low, between low and medium, and let it cook for another about 5 or 6 minutes. And I did taste them, and I ended up adding another tablespoon of the Swerve, just like the other tablespoon, a leveled tablespoon. So I did put another tablespoon of the Swerve in there. Real sugar may make them sweeter quicker, I don't know. You'll just have to do that by your taste. So I'm going to let these boil like this, like I said, for about 2 to 3 minutes. And then I'm going to turn them down and let them boil for another, or let them simmer for another 5 to 6 minutes. And I am going to stir them occasionally too. You can just stir them around a little bit. And if you were to make a jelly out of this, most jellies require you to put like Sure-Jell or something like that in there. But with these, they have a tendency to thicken on their own. So you really don't have to put any of that in there. What you could do is just boil these up. And you'd want to put them in a blender. You wouldn't have to. If you don't want to put them in a blender, that's fine. If you like the chunkiness of the berry, you wouldn't have to do that. But you can kind of blend them up a little bit. And then you can just put the lid on them, put them in the refrigerator, and they will just naturally gel. So you don't have to do a whole lot of extra stuff with them. And like I said, you can have them as tart or as sweet as you want to have them. I want to have them kind of semi-tart, semi-sweet because they are going in a cheesecake. And I'm going to probably get some strawberry and kiwi to go in there as well. So I don't want mine too sweet. Okay, they've been simmering for about 3 minutes or so, and I've just got it on, this is a gas stove, and I've just got it on about 2.5. So it's just above low. And as you can see, they're already starting to kind of gel a little bit. So if you wanted to use this for a syrup and pour it over your ice cream or something like that, you would go ahead and stop the process now, because otherwise the rest of your liquid is going to boil out of there, and then they're going to become a good consistency for jelly or jam. And so if you were making just a topping of some kind, just for a juice or something, oh, not a juice, but like a syrup, this would be just about where you would want it. A little bit of juice in there. But if you wanted it for jelly, again, you would let it boil until some more of the juice is gone out of it. It's actually getting to just about where I want it. I'm going to let a little bit more of the liquid boil off, and then it's going to be done. And also, if you want to do this up ahead of time, if you find a good harvest of them and you want to go ahead and do this up ahead of time, you can jar this. You can put it in jars, and you can put it in the refrigerator. It'll last a pretty good while in the refrigerator. Or you can put it in, you can let it cool completely, put it in some Ziploc bags, some freezer bags, and you can keep it in your freezer, and it will last for sometimes up to 2 years. So it's a really good source of vitamin C and all kinds of things. So if you ever find a harvest of them, go ahead and get you some. Make sure you're getting what you think you're getting and not something else. Be sure you know exactly what you're getting when you're getting anything out of the wild. So these are just about done for me. You can see most of the juice is gone out of them, and it doesn't take long. Once it hits that point where the juice starts dissolving or cooking off, that's when you want to take it off of here. So mine are done. I'm going to turn them off, and I'm going to let them cool for a little bit, and then I'll show you the rest of the process for our cheesecake. So as y'all can see, this is already starting to gel. You could make, if you wanted to make an alternate to cranberry sauce, you could actually make this. And this doesn't have as many stems and things like that in there if you used real cranberries or whatever. So this is really tasty too. But yeah, if you scrape along the edges there, you can see that it's already gelled. So you wouldn't have to add any Sure-Jell or anything to this if you wanted to make jelly out of it. Okay. And I have tasted this, and it is delicious. And again, I used 2 tablespoons, not heaping spoonfuls, but just 2 regular tablespoons of the Swerve there. And like I said, a tablespoonful of real lemon. And that's all I put in it. And then, as I said, it's already getting nice and gelled there. This is going to make a really, really nice cheesecake. You could also make some very pretty dye out of it. I imagine you could probably dye your Easter eggs with this stuff. You just put it in a blender, blend it all up and dip your eggs in it. I bet it would turn them that color. That's a pretty color. So, yeah. Okay, so I let mine cool for, just about 5 minutes or so. So let some more of that juice go out in steam. And now I'm just scraped it off into this little bowl right here. And I'm actually going to make my cheesecake tomorrow. So I wanted to go ahead and get this ready for it tomorrow. I'll make my cheesecake. I wanted my sauce to be nice and cooled off. So there it is. And like I said, you could use this on bread right now as a jam. It is really, really good. Okay, y'all. So the next day, we're going to go ahead and make our cheesecake from our black currants. They're there. They're all ready to go. I've got some strawberries. I had to pick a few out because they were moldy. I just bought them and they're already kind of moldy. And we are using Carb Quick for pie crust. No sugars added, no sugar alcohols, nut-free, really good stuff. It's like Bisquick, only it's made with almond flour and coconut flour and stuff. We're using Swerve confection sugar. We're using Swerve brown sugar. We're using some almond extract and some vanilla. That's our Carb Quick. Now, I was going to tell you something really cool about this Carb Quick. If you cut the box apart, there are recipes on both the front and the back of the box on the inside. And then it gives you their website where you can find even more recipes. So it's got a lot of recipes on there. We got regular Swerve, granular, we got butter, we got cream cheese. We've got our pan over here. I've already sprayed it with a little bit of Pam. Keep it from sticking. And I think, oh yeah, we need some Cool Whip. A little bit of Cool Whip. We've got extra creamy Cool Whip. We're going to use that in with the cream cheese. And I guess we'll get started, and I'll show you guys as I go along what I'm doing. Okay, so I melted or softened about, I don't know, this is I guess a quarter of a butter stick. These are little half sticks, so I think that's probably about a quarter of a cup, maybe. Looks like about a quarter of a cup, half a cup, whatever. However much you like to make your pie crust with. And then I'm just going to pour a little bit of this vanilla. I don't want much in there because I'm going to put that in with my cream cheese. So I'm just going to pour just a little bit in there, just a drop. Get my almond flavor out of there. You can use any flavors. You could use a cinnamon flavor if you wanted a cinnamon taste in pie crust, if you were making a pumpkin pie or something like that. So got my almond flavor. Oh boy, that's really strong, so you don't want to use but just a little bit. Just drop, another little drop. And that right there is plenty. So we're going to mix that up with about a cup of the Carb Quick. Sorry, my mind is somewhere. I don't know. I guess it's probably out here on the scenery. It's so beautiful out there. And there's Lily. Oh. She loves laying back there on the back of the couch and looking out the window. Okay, so you're going to do about a cup of your Carb Quick in with the flour and mix that up, and we'll see how that looks, what kind of consistency it is. And then we'll flatten it into our pie pan. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, so I got that about where I want it. You don't want it to be like a dough or anything like that. You want it to be kind of like if you crushed up graham crackers then added butter to it. That's about what you would want the consistency to be. I also used about a tablespoonful of the brown sugar Swerve and added that in there. It gave it a really good flavor. and I tasted it. It tastes really good. So we're going to go ahead and get that pressed into our pan, and then we'll stick that in the oven for about 10 to 15 minutes at about 375. Just keep a good eye on it. You don't want it to get too brown. Okay, so I just kind of pressed that mixture into the bottom of my pan. It doesn't have to be, you know, just real firm or anything like that, because you're going to pour your cheesecake mixture in on top of that, and it's just going to kind of soak into that a little bit. So you don't want to make it too flat or anything. It's more like kind of a Dutch apple pie kind of pie crust. You can use any kind of pie crust you want to. You could even get one of the pre-made pie crust and use that of any kind, just so you have your pie crust. And you could make a crustless cheesecake too if you wanted to do that. But this is what I'm using. And I've got my oven set. I'm just learning how to cook on gas again. I haven't cooked on gas in a long time. But here in the cabin, we have a gas stove. So I'm learning how to do that again. So we shall see how this turns out. And I do have it on, I've got it on about 375. And I'm just going to stick it in there and keep a good eye on it. And it'll probably be about 10 or 15 minutes till it's nice and done. Okay. Okay, so I diced my strawberries all up. And if you are wanting to stick to a really low carb recipe, you might want to get something besides strawberries, because strawberries aren't really low carb. They're not super bad, but they're not great either if you're on a really low carb diet. If you're trying to really cut those carbs down low, I would try blueberries or raspberries or something like that, because strawberries are a little bit higher in carbs than some of the other fruits and berries. But I've got those all diced up. Let's check and see what our pie crust is. Not browned yet. It's only been in there about 5 minutes. So we'll leave that in there another 5 to 10 minutes. And just keep checking it, like I said, especially me, because I'm not used to that gas oven, so I'm checking it quite often. We'll give that a few more minutes, and I'll go ahead and get some of the other stuff prepared. I was going to go ahead and show y'all my black currants again, too. This is the day after I fixed them, and see how that is really gelled. You could use that for jelly or jams or whatever. And you could, like I said before, you can put this in a Ziploc and put it in the freezer, and you can keep it for up to 2 years. Or you could can it just like you would do any other jelly. Just preserve it that way. But yeah, there's lots of ways to prepare black currants. And like I said, some people really love them and some people don't like them at all. But they're actually really good when you sweeten them up a little bit. So I have went ahead and put the strawberries in with the black currants. Now I didn't sweeten my strawberries. I didn't saute them off or anything. I just want the texture of the strawberry in there to be really good. So I just mixed my strawberries in with my black currants. And I'm going to only use about maybe a half or a third of this mixture in my cake today, my cheesecake today, because I'm going to put part of it in a Ziploc bag, put it in the freezer, and save it for later on. I wanted to make my friend, my landlady, a pie too, since she was so generous to bring me these black currants. She picked them and brought them over to me. So I wanted to make her a pie as well, and she's out of town for a little while. So I'm going to put these in the freezer and save some, and when she gets back, I'll make her a pie. And probably me another one as well. So let's go ahead and check our pie crust again, because I'm starting to smell it. And it's getting a little brown around the edges, so we're going to go ahead and pull that on out of there. Okay, so we went ahead and took it out of there. It was in there about 10 minutes, 10, 12 minutes, somewhere around there. But you can see it's browning pretty good, and it's going to continue to cook just a little bit because that pan is so hot. But you can see just around the edges, it's a nice golden brown. And it's really hard to see the color of it. But it's a really pretty color, and it looks like it's going to be perfect. So we'll go ahead and we'll get our cheesecake all mixed up, and I'll show you the how to do that. Okay, so I went ahead and I used my block of cream cheese. I put it in a bowl, put it in the microwave for about 45 seconds or so, just to soften it. And it's a lot easier to work with that way. I'm just going to be using my hand blender today. So if you had like one of the food processors, you wouldn't have to melt it, get it soft. But if you get it soft, it's a lot easier to work with a hand blender. So I'm going to use about a tablespoonful of the confections sugar, and I'm going to use about a tablespoonful of the regular granular sugar. I'm going to put those in there. I'm going to put a little bit more vanilla extract in there, not much, probably just a couple of drizzles. And then I'm going to add my fruit, mix that up really good with my blender, and then pour it into the cake pan. And I'm also going to add about a half a cup of my extra creamy whipped topping and just mix that in with the mixture and then pour it in there. You'll want to go ahead and blend up your cream cheese and your sugars first before you add the the Cool Whip, because your cream cheese is still a little bit warm from being in the microwave. But by the time you add your sugar with it and you blend it a little while with the blender, it's going to be okay. Now, if you had your own favorite cheesecake recipe, you could do that, and you could add your black currants to your normal, regular, everyday cheesecake. Oh, I'm also going to add, almost forgot that. I'm also going to add a little bit of real lemon juice to it as well. Oops, my refrigerator door won't stay open. So I'm also going to add about a tablespoon of real lemon juice to this as well. I went ahead and put my tablespoonful of Swerve confection, and I used a leveled tablespoonful of that, and also the granular. And I just put one leveled teaspoon or tablespoon of both in there, and then I put just a couple of drizzles of the vanilla. You can put that as much vanilla in there as you want for taste. And then I also went ahead and put 2 tablespoons of the real lemon juice in there. That'll help break up and soften the cream cheese even more. The acids in the real lemon will do that. All right, so let's get this blended, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like. All right, got that all blended up. It's nice and creamy. I'm going to go ahead and put some of the Cool Whip in there. Like I said, you can put about a cup, half a cup, whatever you want to do for flavor. I'm going to put probably about, I don't know. I'll have to taste it and see, and I'll let y'all know what I decide to put in it. I went ahead and put a whole cup, because you can never have too much Cool Whip or whipped topping. You can never have too much of that. So I went ahead and put a whole cup in there. And I just blended it up. Now I'm going to take my berries over here, or my strawberries and my black currants, and I'm just going to mix them up in there. I'm not going to blend it again because I don't want to break up my fruit too much. So I'm just going to put it in there and stir it up, and then we're going to put it in the pie crust. Oh wow, isn't that beautiful? And no artificial colors either. Look at that. That's absolutely beautiful. I went ahead and I saved about a little more than half of my strawberry and black currant mixture, and I'm going to put those in a Ziploc freezer bag and put those in the freezer. So we'll go ahead and get this stirred off into our pie crust if it's cool enough. I need to check and make sure it's cool enough. Once your pie crust is cool to the touch, you can go ahead and pour this on in there, put some saran wrap over it, or tin foil or whatever you got, and put it back into the refrigerator for about an hour to 2 hours. All right, so there it is. It is very, very good. I've been cleaning the spoon after I scraped it all out of the bowl. I cleaned the spoon off, and my goodness, that was delicious. And like I said, I saved this much for later, and I'll make another one some other time. But there it is. Isn't that beautiful? Now, when you serve it, you can put a little more Cool Whip on it, because why not? Who can have enough Cool Whip? So, that's what it looks like. We'll go ahead and put it in the refrigerator, and it'll kind of, harden a little bit because of the cream cheese. And we'll be able to cut it in about an hour or so, hour to 2 hours. Depending on how cold your refrigerator is, I'm probably going to put this one in there for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. And then I will show y'all what it looks like plated up. Okay, y'all, so there it is, all finished. You can see it's gelled really well. It's not runny anymore or anything. You can see that it just has really good consistency. And we're fixing to cut us a little piece with our little rubber spatula and see what it tastes like. Well, I was a little too anxious to try it, and I didn't let it firm quite enough, but that's what it looks like. I just scooped me some out of there. Delicious. My mom likes it. She didn't like the black currants just by themselves. She said they were not very good, but mixed with all of this stuff and with the little strawberries in there, cream cheese, she said it was delicious. So there it is. Maybe I'll do a better plate up for my thumbnail, but it don't matter what it looks like as long as it tastes good, and this tastes really good. So there it is. So thank y'all for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you can find you a harvest of black currants sometime or another and try this recipe. You could try it with other kinds of berries or anything like that. Just use the same recipe. Use your favorite. You could put kiwi in it. Like I said, you could put pineapple in it. You could do whatever you wanted to with it and just put anything you wanted to in it. But it's a really good, simple, kind of low carb. Not too low carb, but lower than normal. And it's actually really, really good. Alright, so thanks for watching. Hope y'all are doing well out there. God bless y'all. And I will talk to you on the next video.